do you mean it sucks?
This pepper beef is too damn spicy.
What are you talking about? This is good.
How's it going, guys? Pepper beef is spicy. I hope you guys are doing alright. As of 11:30 in the morning on the East Coast, October 3rd, 2014. The first footage of Tekken 7 has been released over at the arcades over in Japan, due for the Tekken 7 location tests. Now, all the footage that I've seen so far, in my experience anyways, are all just cam recordings and everything, nothing super official. But me, and as well as many other people, have seen the gameplay of Tekken 7 and know what to expect already, but in case you guys didn't see, I'll give a breakdown of the new features that have definitely been seen so far in Tekken 7's gameplay. The first two foremost things that I have to talk about is the two, maybe even, two main mechanics, but a couple other minor mechanics that they've changed. So, the two brand new mechanics. Well, before I get into this, I want to say everything that I've seen here is not from me originally. I found these on the internet. And any footage of Tekken 7, I will of course leave credit to the people who did record those and who uploaded them, because I was not there myself and I don't want to take credit for it. Anyways, so and overall, the things I'm about to say are all coinciding with my belief that Karada is trying to make the game more casual friendly, and we'll see more of that as we say. Anyways, as I go on, so the two new mechanics of Tekken 7 are called Rage Art and Power Crash. Rage Art is a comeback mechanic like Rage in Tekken 7, where when you have Rage, you will be able to perform a move that takes a lot of health away from the opponent, at least 40, maybe 50% of the HP of the opponent away. It's a very flashy move. It's very akin to Supers and Ultras from like Street Fighter or Ultra Marvel's Capcom. It's a very powerful move, of course, like I mentioned, and it's very unsafe. Reportedly, most of the Rage Arts, if not all of the Rage Arts, are negative 15. They don't have great range, so they're not very usable in the open. There are reports saying that they may have some kind of invincibility. That's not 100% confirmed yet. But the thing that is true is that it's definitely combo friendly, as in you can combo into a Rage Art, which would be extremely useful as a comeback mechanic. Rage Art is, once again, applying to the casual friendly, in my opinion, is that you have a comeback mechanic, is where if you're low on health, there's still a way for you to come back. So basically, Rage Art is a way to come back further in the game with the additional help of Rage. So now you have both Rage and Rage Art. In this game, unlike Tekken Tag 2, Rage now activates at 10-5% around there, like it was in Tekken 6. So we'll have to see where that takes us. I'm interested to see all the Rage Arts. They look very flashy. It doesn't look like you can combo after them, because a lot of them causes the character performing them to do a taunt or a flashy pose or anything of that sort, as I've seen from Paul and Asuka's so far. I haven't seen many others. The Rage Art looks really cool. I think I like the idea. Like, I like Supers because, it looks flashy and it looks cool, but a lot of people are not happy with it because they're like, well, you're making Tekken not like Tekken, now it's like a 2D game. Well, in my opinion, it's either get with the flow or be swept under the rug, because 2D games, in my opinion, are all more successful because, one, they're simpler, and two, they're more flashy. And maybe with the fact that Tekken will become more flashy now, maybe people will be able to have a wider audience, will be more popular. Personally, I don't mind the Supers. I didn't mind them in Soul Calibur 5. I minded EX moves. I didn't like EX moves in Soul Calibur 5, but I'm all for the Rage Art. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I don't not like it either. So I'm more or less interested in how it will turn out, and I'm especially interested in any of them are particularly super hyped. Now I know that Paul's is a super Death Fist, which looks super cool, and some are like mini combos of themselves. So we'll just have to see. The second new mechanic is called Power Crash. Power Crash is similar to the Sabaki parries that have already been in the game, and they're essentially armor moves. Every character has one Power Crash, like every character has one Rage Art. A Power Crash is a move which bursts through any number of hits of an opponent as long as they're high and mid. The problem here is that while it will break through any attacks of the opponent, you will still take damage. Now, I'm not sure if the damage is reduced, if it's a fixed amount of damage depending on how many hits you take, or if the damage is how it would have been if you would have taken the hit normally. So essentially, it's very similar to the invincible moves in Tekken Revolution, but without actually being invincible. Like, the opponent will still take damage, but they won't take any stun. It does burst through highs and mids, but it will not crush lows, so that will make it invulnerable to a low attack. So you can't just spam it if your opponent has like a low in their string or something. But I guess that's more of like a mashy kind of thing. Like, I assume, like, you know, new beginner players will want to learn Tekken will try to use the armor move Power Crash, because it's just like, it's a free way to get hits, it's a free way to get off pressure, which may simplify the defense game, because, like, well, why would I need to defense when I could just spam a Power Crash move? But judging from what I saw, is like, King's Power Crash move is his shoulder rush, and Law's Power Crash move is his forward 4-3. So this could mean that the Power Crash moves in general are all pretty slow, so that could stop them from being spammed as a defensive tool, although you could use them more as an offensive tool than as a defensive move. Like, use it more so as a move that you could close the gap with, because if your opponent tries to counter hit you out of your, you know, approach tool, your Power Crash will just go straight to their counter hit attack, and you'll just, you know, you'll hit them. So those are the two new mechanics. They're definitely aimed at making the game more casual friendly, more flashy, definitely, as both are elements that are found in 2D games. So we'll just have to see where it goes with that. I'm not like super not a fan of either of them. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I don't dislike them, but I don't like love them either. Although I'm more interested in the Rage Art than in the Power Crash, because, you know, I like seeing new animations, so I'm just interested in the Rage Art. Also, about Rage Art, using a Rage Art consumes your rage whether you land it or not. So you have to make sure that Rage Art counts, because if you don't land it, well, you know, you just wasted rage, and now you're in a really shitty position where you can't come back. Overall, these two new mechanics are being seen negatively, as from what I saw, by more experienced players, because they feel their game is taking away from the uniqueness of Tekken and making it more like a 2D game. But, you know, in my opinion, it's nothing. In my opinion, it just enhances the game. You know, it makes it more flashy, and then, you know, I always like seeing flashy things, but I guess people like seeing more bare bones things. I mean, I like that too, but, you know, that's just my opinion. The other new mechanics that are changed is, these are not new mechanics, but mechanics that have been tweaked. First and foremost is the most important one, is the removal of bound. This is like, I'm like 85% sure that bound is gone, but from what I've seen, bound moves no longer bound. It's more like Tekken Revolution, where it seems that, like, you know, Tekken 7 is borrowing a lot from Tekken Revolution, but not entirely, where only specific moves will cause bound states. Like, I know that's similar to, like, how it was before. It's like, oh, you know, in Tekken Tag 2, moves called bound states, but, like, I'm talking, like, a move by itself, like you throw the string out, not in a combo, but only the string itself, like Law's forward, 4-3 will cause a bound. In addition to that, a lot of moves that used to bound don't bound anymore, and the difference now is that certain moves can cause what I'm calling a butt splat effect, where a lot like if you counter hit, let's say Lars is, what's his move? I think his move is forward 4-2. I'm not entirely sure. Or Yoshimitsu's Kin forward 4-2. Those moves cause, on counter hit anyways, cause a twisting in the air motion, and then you land on your butt or your back. This is a new kind of way of extending combos, where your opponent will only briefly be stunned for a moment, where you'll be able to move while they're being flown through the air, and they'll be stunned for a fraction of a second as soon as they land, so you have less time to actually combo. So it seems that, you know, instead of actually doing a move where a lot of bound moves in Tekken were moves that, you know, hit the opponent down onto the floor, it's gonna be more like these new butt splat moves are gonna be moves that instead knock your opponent flying instead of down, so that when they land, they're in that short stun. It's a very specific kind of stun. Like I said, they twist through the air and they land on their back. It's already been in Tekken Tag 2 and Tekken 6. It's been there before, but now it has a new property. But it's not. You shouldn't treat it like bound, because it's a very, very short stun. So you don't have a lot of time to do more damage, or, you know, a specific kind of strain that only would work on bound, etc. So that's interesting. It's going to make the combo mechanics more easy, or easier rather, and it's going to probably lessen the damage, I imagine. which was a big issue in Tekken Tag 2, and maybe in Tekken 6. Second mechanic is that Okizeme is apparently a lot easier to get off from Okizeme pressure. What I mean by this is I've seen footage of people doing ground attacks, like, the ones you see in a lot of Tekken games, like, get up 3s, get up 4s, back spring kicks, your rolls, your down 3, shin kicks, toe kicks, whatever. Apparently, the toe kick, the down 3, is very, very safe now, where you can move after using a toe kick, which means that Okizeme-based characters are going to be weakened in Tekken 7, where it seems that it's going to be a lot harder to keep your opponent off the ground, and it seems that you won't be punished as much for trying to leave the ground by rolling or so, which, in my opinion, was a big problem for a lot of beginner players, rather. Learning how to get off the ground was that they kept getting punished because they got off properly. And it seems that this new, your Okizeme is safer because, the toe kick, you can get up, and it seems that you get up a lot faster, and it seems like getting up has it's more safer frames. In general, getting up is a lot easier, so it seems that they're gonna make it easier for people to get in the game, so they don't have to, sweat and bleed to learn how to get up properly. So it's definitely coinciding with the idea that Tekken 7 is supposed to be easier. That's mostly that. Like I said, shorter combos, and the butt smash property bound removed. The game overall is a lot more flashy. Like, the special effects are super, really, really flashy, special effects and all that. Also new is that when you get KO'd, the move that will KO you will now slow down. So, as soon as the game registers that the move will, connect, and it will cause the KO, even before you even land it, the game will slow down and, zoom in on the move that's gonna end the game. And, I'm, kind of iffy about it because, it looks a little cool, but at the same time, it's like I don't want that interrupting my matches. Once you see the slow-mo, it's like, oh, it's over. But then it's you can't really see who won, because if, two people are trying to hit each other with moves and they're both low health, it's kind of you don't really know how to win. I preferred it, in Tekken 6, where you just hit someone, they die, and it's fall to the ground and do whatever, but, it's just something. There's a lot of slowdown, especially with a lot of power moves, let's say Law's forward 4-3, or Paul's Death Fist, or, maybe, what's another move that's, caused a lot of craziness, Arc Blast, maybe, or, Leo's forward 4-2. Any, really strong power moves that land will now also cause the slowdown effect, which may be a little bit, annoying, but we'll have to see. I'll have to see for myself when I actually play the game, whenever it comes out, or how soon I can get to playing it, and see how it feels, because it's not a big deal, but, it feels like a little bit much. The one thing I am happy about is that when you beat someone, you defeat someone in Tekken 7, you do get them, they do fall on the ground like a real proper animation like in Tekken 6, and you can move around. So I'm happy about that, because it was a bit annoying on Tekken Tag 2 how you just you knock out someone and then just replays the knockout 3 times, and then you just and then it goes on to the next match. I like being able to move after you defeat your opponent. It's a very Tekken tradition kind of thing, Namco tradition anyways. I like being able to move, make pose. Whenever I used to play Tekken before I played Tekken Tag 2, whenever I beat someone with Law, I would do Law's fake step, and I'm probably gonna do that now. Also, movement looks very similar to Tekken Revolution, where everyone's back walk seems a lot slower, and the backdash itself seems a lot shorter. Although I don't want to dampen your hopes too much, because Tekken 7 does have Korean backdashing, and I've seen reports where people say it's pretty much the same movement as Tekken has always been, but apparently sidestepping is a little bit awkward. But overall it's the same movement, even though it does look a little bit weird, although a lot of people are comparing it to Tekken Revolution, even though that's only visually, and in actuality it's supposed to be similar to Tekken Tag 2, Tekken 6, etc. Alright, so those are the new mechanics that we've seen so far. I will examine the characters that I can from the footage, especially Law, because he was he's my main, and he was over at the arcade in the roster. We did get a shot of the character roster, the character selection screen, although it's not final. There were 2 slots for 2 new characters, and noticeably Jin and Devil Jin are both gone, so that's interesting. I'm very sad that Lei is not there. I can only pray and hope that he will be there at some point in the game, that he's just not ready for alpha test or whatever. And I'm also kind of disappointed that the characters' costumes have not received any large changes, although I guess the characters themselves haven't gotten really like new costumes ever since Tekken 4. Ever since Tekken 4, everyone's costume has pretty much stayed the same, you know, after Tekken 4. I mean, it's more like Tekken 4 was the last game where everyone got visibly different costume changes, and like Tekken 5 and onward, it's pretty much everyone has had the same costume, which, in my opinion, is a bit disappointing because I always like to see characters in new outfits, but, you know, what can you do about it? Also, Law's mustache is gone. It's still not there, unfortunately. The last order of business is that, well, the two new characters, I've seen gameplay of both of them, Claudio and Katarina. It seems that when the translation of Catalina came out, it's actually the romanized version of Katarina, because in Japanese there is no, what's called it? L sound. So, I mean, like, when you pronounce R in English, it's the, Japanese equivalent of, she calls it. It's hard to explain. It's more like if you say Catalina in Japanese, it would translate as Katarina in English or so. So whether her name is actually Katarina or Catalina is not really sure. So either way, that's her name. The name is either between Katarina or Catalina. That doesn't really matter because they're very similar names. Maybe it just depends on the way you spell it, because they sound very similar anyways. The thing about Katarina, I'm just gonna call her Katarina now, is that a lot of her strings, if not all of them, are all just one button press strings. Now, I mean like one button as in like you press like 5 times in a row and then you'll make a string. So she's gonna be a very mashy character, and just like Harada said, she's gonna be a beginner character. So she's gonna be a character that a lot of beginners are gonna be able to pick up and understand how to play the game. And they won't have to worry about execution because Katarina's moves are all like single button strings. So they won't learn like execution yet, but they'll at least learn how moves work and how you're supposed to use certain moves. And from gameplay, she looks decent. She looks like a lot of kicks. Her range isn't that great, but she looks like a little bit Hwarong-ish, where she focuses a lot on kicks rather than punches or so. And she's a flip kick of sorts. Nothing really that crazy. I haven't seen anything crazy yet. I've seen her knock down low. She seems to have some kind of a wave dash, maybe. I saw some kind of forward dash, but it may have been something similar to Lars is like his stances, like his whatever called. I forgot what they call the sneaking stances and stuff. But she looks alright. Nothing really too crazy, just a lot of kicks. That's just what I saw from nothing really too crazy. Now, the other new character that was revealed, not really revealed, but more like we saw gameplay footage, because I do believe he was announced before, but we didn't see anything of him until now, is Claudio. Claudio is definitely, like, I'm 99% sure he's Italian. He fights a little bit like Miguel. It looks like his fighting style is very similar to Miguel. He might actually be the replacement for Miguel, perhaps. Because Miguel's not in this build. He may still be in the game, but the fact that he fights similar to Miguel might be that he might be replacing Miguel. He looks very flashy, like he came straight out of an anime game. His very flowing white coat, and he's slick back hair, and he's good looking, good looks, whatever. And the interesting thing about his fighting style is that his right arm, it may be his left. I'm making directions messed up because I'm not looking at the picture right now. But his right arm looks to be like some kind of magical, maybe some kind of robotic arm similar to Brian. Is it Brian? Someone has Yoshimitsu. Sorry, Yoshimitsu has a mechanical arm, and that arm, whether it's magical or mechanical, seems to have some kind of power in it, as the fist glows blue a lot with like a blue fire. And his moveset might be based around that, using his arm, because it seems like that's the special part of his moveset. But from gameplay-wise, all I can say is that he fights like Miguel. That's all I can say. Don't know anything about his story, don't know anything about his personality, although he looks like a cocky kind of character, a little bit like Katarina, looks like a good-looking guy. Maybe like a roguish, kind of like a handsome rogue kind of character. But since Tekken is lacking an Italian character, well, there you go. There are two open slots on the character roster, although they may just be characters that are in the build but have not been, revealed yet. So we'll just have to see what goes on in the coming months. There may be more Tekken footage as I upload this, and there'll be more new information. So just want to let you know this is being uploaded around October 3rd in the United States, anyways. So if there's anything that came out after this, well, I can't account for it. You know what I mean? But overall, Tekken 7 looks nice. The graphics look pretty great. Looks very shiny, but I don't mind that. That's fine. It looks a lot better. It looks like it was tooled for PS4. I'm not sure if it will even be on PS3. But I'll definitely be getting a PS4 anyways because I want to get Bloodborne. So definitely be playing that. So overall, we've got Rage Art, which is the supers. We've got Power Crash, armor moves. We've got Safer Okazemi. We've got removal of bound with the addition of butt splats. We've got shorter combos. We have the game is more flashy. We've got awkward but still similar movement, and we've got Claudio and Katarina or Catalina, whatever you're gonna call it. And of course, like I said, I will be doing an examination of Law and see if anything's changed about him in Tekken 7 right after this video goes up. So it's been Perfectly Spicy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something about Tekken 7. And I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned for more Tekken 7. See you guys later.